Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Hello, hello. I'm literally plugging in my mic as we speak. Check 1, 2. Let me know if you guys hear me before I get this thing going. And also, too, there's a big echo. Give me 1 second in my own ear. Hang on. Okay. Yeah. So let me know if you guys can hear me, but don't hear me clear on a microphone. Like, I have a microphone in front of me. It should sound crystal clear. If it sounds like I'm speaking through computer speakers, let me know, because usually when I go on this channel, for whatever reason, it does that. So if you guys can just confirm if you hear the clear mic, or if you hear me talking to like a camera or a computer microphone. But it sounds like you guys at least hear me now. Oh, whoops. Come on. Technical difficulties to start this one off, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second. Here we go. What is computer mic through a tin can? Okay, let me try to. Yeah, see, I don't know why it does that. So audio input. How about now? Does it sound different? Does it sound clear now? An echo room. Yeah, so I'm moving my rooms right now. So the room right next to me is literally completely empty, so we might get an echo. Let me know if this microphone works now. Speaker. Okay. All right, cool. Sorry to the people that aren't live. I know I usually get right to the point in my videos, but I want to make sure I sound good. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to click on this YouTube video real quick and listen to myself. I think I'm good now. I think I'm good. All right. All right. My volume's up. There we go. Okay. It's too loud in my ear. I'm sorry. If you guys can't hear me, just turn up your volume, because if I turn mine up, it's literally blowing my ear. So yeah, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? Without further ado, I am Jenkins. I mean, I think you guys know me by now. If not, I'm newer to streaming. I've been doing this it's crazy. I've been doing this about like 95 days now. So just about 100 days I've been on Twitter and YouTube, and it feels like I've been here forever now, right? But I go through the charts. I'm a technical analysis type of dude. I like to break down the charts, but I'm not one of those people that's going to get on here and show you next level, tools that are so hard to comprehend. What I'm here to do is show basic stuff that should be easy to comprehend by everybody. So I want to keep it traditional, do traditional TA, show you guys what's happening in the charts right now, show you guys a little bit about why the markets are moving the way that they are, what zones we can look for going forward in a normal, healthy market structure. And I also want to talk about what we talked about last week. So, last week I had Blue Bum on here, by the way. So for you guys that were here last week and you watched that episode that me and Blue Bum I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was fun. I like Blue Bum a lot. So Blue Bum, if you're here, shout out to you. Love the energy, love your perspective. We have good chemistry. So, that won't be the last time you see me and Blue Bum on this channel together. So I think once Pulse Chain, the next big announcement happens, I think it's a good time for me and Blue Bum to get back on here. Every time something big in Hex or Pulse comes, we'll get on here and talk all that fun stuff together. But anyways, my charts are on here. I'm just going to dive right into it. I know you guys aren't here for me. You guys are here for the charts. You guys are here for the technical analysis. You guys are here to hear about Hex. You guys want to know what's going on with Hex. There's people that are new to crypto that want to know what's going on every living moment they open that staker app. And I want to kind of guide you guys through the day-to-day. We already know where Hex is going long-term. There's a lot of streamers out there that tell you all that. But I want to show you guys, some stuff and things that make sense. And I hope it makes sense to everybody. And we use nothing but data. So everything I'm going to look at is just going to be strictly data, what the price is telling us and what other things, what the price is basically producing. That's going to give us answers and reasons to make our, specific projections. Okay, let me make sure this chart's on the right way it is. So, can I make this any bigger? 1 second. No, it's all right. We'll keep it like this. So last week, it was Thursday? It was August 12th. So when I was on stream here with Blue Bum, the price we were at was 79, 10, 11, around here. This was the area we were just at, okay? And let me circle that because we'll touch base on where we were at. We'll recap and figure out, what exactly happened. The mentality that I had at this point in time was literally, I told you guys, I'm not going to go into this in too much detail, but we had, the bull flag with the triangle pennant pattern, the bull flag, triangle pennant pattern. We had this bull flag, formed another triangle pennant pattern, different type of style, but it was essentially the same thing. So we had these, the all-time high here. Then we had a lower high. And then it kind of just had this top part of the triangle moving down. But the bottom half of this triangle on this whole entire, move base. Oh, whoops. The bottom half of this basically, I'm going to fix this real quick. Hang on. Whoops. Jenkins is not on it right now. But basically we had a triangle pattern, where we had the low down here and then we had higher low, and then lower highs. We kind of formed like, this triangular pattern. So we were right in this blue circle as that was happening. And what I wanted to see was literally 5 waves that, complete this whole triangle. So I like to see 5 waves that create tension inside of these triangles. And where's my stuff at? Why am I so out of it right now? So basically you had this big massive wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave 5. After you complete 5 waves inside of this triangular pattern, typically what you want to see is the price pull back or at least move sideways and then launch. So when I was on stream, I told you guys I wanted to get this 13.6 touch one more time. As you know, that didn't happen. And I was talking to a few of you on Twitter about it. I was waiting for my dip. But as you see how we broke this local high right there after we got off stream, we were resisting for a while. We stayed sideways for every candle here by those 4 hours. We stayed sideways for 4, 8, 12, about 16 hours. So it was almost a whole day of trading sideways. It looked perfect for just one small little dip and go sideways a little bit longer, just touch this area and explode. As you guys know, I had dry powder that I was waiting for my buy here. I wanted this 13.6 range. I didn't get that. I essentially got in up here at 16.8 pennies, and I'll tell you guys why I got in. But we didn't get that perfect pullback, but we did get the price to explode outside of the triangle pattern. Okay. Let me click this real quick. 1 second. Okay. Yeah, so we didn't get that exact dip, and I know, I was waiting for that. We didn't get it, but it's okay. At the end of the day, the difference between 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 cents won't make much of a difference when HEX is at $10 one day, very soon. But so what I want to show you before I actually dive into what price is doing now, I want to go back to what I talked about all the time in my early day streams, which is like a couple months ago. I like to see just simple market patterns, like 5 waves, so I like to see price, be trapped in one area. And then I want to see that, that area of price trap be broken. And then I want to see if Elliott waves be printed right, following that. So let me show you this chart real quick before I dive into what's happening right now in HEX, just so it makes sense for the people that are new to charts. So this is the all-time price of HEX. Okay. So this is literally from day one all the way till today. And we're at all-time highs right now, not counting all those wicks and everything that people, I saw there's like 32-cent wicks on, was that Staker app? There's some exchange with a 32-cent wick. Hex wasn't at 32 cents. Don't trust the wicks. Like the wicks don't really tell us where price really was at. We like to see candles open and close. So I like this chart here on, CoinTrader Pro. Because it kind of filters out a lot of those wicks that don't really happen. It only happens in some areas. But as you can see, price is opening and closing at all-time highs. The all-time high price close is at 18.99 pennies. I mean, can we just say it's 19 cents? I guess, but 18.99 pennies is the highest all-time high. We've had the highest daily close we've had, and that happened literally yesterday, just over 24 hours ago. So we're at all-time highs right now. But back to the price trap. So to give you guys a little bit of perspective, I won't go too far back, but we'll go all the way back from, this is the big payday area. This is, October, November of 2020. We had the big payday, so price dipped, but we recovered. I don't really count this dip because that was more of a fundamental dip. But when I'm talking about the technicals, I want to see something like this inside of a price trap. So where's my, whoops, 1 second, rectangle. So you see there's this high right here. And then there's the same high right here. So it was a top, double top. We had a triple top, came up, made like a little bit of a quadruple top almost. Price was trading sideways, but then also at the bottom, we had this bottom here. I ignore this big payday dip because we recovered right away. But we had this bottom here, created another bottom here, another bottom here. So we created this big rectangle. Sometimes you'll see price traps happen in rectangles. Sometimes you'll see price traps happen. Let me make this a little bit lower. Price traps will happen in rectangles. Sometimes they'll happen in triangles. But just for demonstrational purposes, I'm going to show you this one. But this was, we were trading sideways for 4, 5, 6 months, maybe about 6 months. And then we finally broke the price trap. That's when I started streaming. I was telling you guys, simple Elliott waves. You want to see markets move in wave patterns. Look a little something like this, impulse, a correction, impulse, correction, impulse, correction. That's how a healthy market moves. And typically they move in waves of 3 and 5. I like to see 5 waves on the grand scale. So we were trading sideways. We have this resistance line here. Once we finally broke this resistance after tapping it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, we finally broke it. To know and confirm that price is going to move the direction that it's looking like after a price trap, you always want to see the break of this resistance area. And then you always want to see a retest. And this was like the most picture perfect, price action we can ask for in a demonstration like this. And it just so happens to be HEX. But we had the big bull flag and we had a retest, and the retest just so happened to come down in this bull flag to the exact area where this was a massive support line. So in doing so, we broke the price trap, but we broke the price trap and created a new set of Elliott waves. So wave 1 broke it. Wave 2 just, came down touch. After wave 2 corrected, we had the next impulse, which was that massive bull flag. So wave 3, then we had that correction, wave 4. I mean, right now, I guess we're kind of in a wave 5, but who knows where it went. But we had wave 4, and then obviously wave 5, we topped off at 10 pennies. That was like our 10 pennies was like that goal. Remember when we first got to 10 pennies and Richard Hart lit the candles? We were like, that's it, we did it. And then next thing you know, we're trading at 11 pennies and then 12 and 17, 18. So we didn't get to spend much time there. But the point is, we had a price trap range. We broke out of it. We saw the confirmation that we created Elliott waves that literally aligned perfectly with the top of the resistance, the former resistance line of that price trap. So that's usually my confirmation that price is going to move very strong in one direction. Okay, so keep that price trap in mind. So when I talk about price trap, this is what I'm looking for. When I talk about breaking out of a price trap, this is what I'm looking for. 3 to 5 waves, in their own way. And they don't have to be picture perfect, but you just want to see those waves come out of a price trap area. And remember, price traps can happen in rectangles and triangles if you're being strictly like a technical analysis person, right? So let me show you this chart now. Let's talk about what HEX is doing right here, right now, because that's what really matters. And you guys want to know what's coming next. Obviously, if you guys were on my YouTube channel 6 days ago, my next major target's 25 cents. What did I want to see? My first confirmation I wanted to see in this 25-cent move is literally this triangle just be broken. And then once it breaks, I wanted to see 5 Elliott waves form, right? Well, look at, we're broke. That's our first wave. So we have this triangle right here. Price was trapped in this triangle, created, the pennant pattern. That was a long one, too. This is from July 16th all the way to August 13th. This is a month long of price, just tension, building, building, building. A mini price trap. We broke it, obviously. So now nothing's guaranteed, but we're going to move up. And especially once the pulse chain the pulse chain, test net or whatever the next big announcement happens, that's going to probably shoot it up the same way sacrifice phase shot this price up. But basically what's happening right here, right now, we broke out of the triangle. The first wave we wanted to see was just a strong impulse up. Now that's wave 1. A correction is fully expected in this scenario, So right now we're in the midst of a wave 2 correction. And I'll break that down into detail and show you guys exact areas and ranges I'm looking for. But just keep in mind the grand scheme of things, price trap broke it. Elliott waves, wave 1, wave 2, whatever that is, wave 3. Wave 3 could be here, and I'll explain why. You know, wave 4, wave 5, or it can be like wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, wave. You just never know. But the important thing is we are creating new strong waves and another trend line that is pointing up and to the right after sitting in this price trap area. Okay. So this is something that's good. So we have all, I mean, we all know this too. I don't have to come on here and tell you guys HEX is going up for, I mean, we all know HEX is going up, but I just wanted to touch base on all of that before we started talking about, you know, what levels can we expect going forward. So now that I pointed those out, let me delete out all these lines. I keep these rectangles, as you guys know. Every target that I've made in my, you know, short streaming career, I left those targets on here, and we see price perfect bounce off those all the time. And then just like this next major target at 25 cents, I'm going to leave that there. So when we hit it, we can celebrate, and then we move past it one day. That'll be our new support line one day. So yeah, so this is a very good structure. We have this massive impulse, and this is on the 4-hour chart. Price is looking good, but I want to start off on the daily chart here because I'm a daily guy. And the daily and weekly charts matter more than your 1 hour and 4-hour charts, right? So what is the daily chart? So every candle is one day, okay? But what is the daily chart showing us? Right now, obviously, just envision that triangle. I won't draw it. After that break, we did not have one. So every black candle is a negative candle. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight days of price moving up. And this isn't a parabolic move. This is just a strong, healthy, very, very healthy, structured move. That this just means that there's just way more buying strength than seller strength. That's a good thing. So don't be confused, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys are excited about all-time highs right now in HEX, I mean, I know we're down to 17.9 pennies, but, you know, we're in the past couple of days trading at all-time highs, actually staying up here around 19 cents. Don't think that this is the parabolic move just yet. This is just literally simple, nice, bullish structure that we're creating. And it's literally, if the pulse chain announcement happens tomorrow, this thing's gone. You know, 25 cents might not even hold as a strong support line at that point. But let's just assume that the pulse chain, you know, testnet or whatever is going to take, you know, another month to launch. And everything we're talking about has nothing to do with that. Strictly technicals. What can we expect? So after you see so many up candles, you really want to see a down candle. You know, as much as we like to see our portfolios grow, we want to see, you know, healthy structure at the end of the day. So what are some levels that we can point out right off the bat? Well, if you look at, you know, when we first hit this all-time high, when we wicked in this range 1, 2, 3 times, where the area I like to really put the price at, where real money actually sits, is going to be this, you know, where the candles actually open and close. So this first candle closed here. The first positive candle closed up here around, you know, 17 cents. The next down candle started at 17 cents. And then you see the next one was a positive candle. It wicked up to past 17 cents, couldn't break above it. And then the next down candle, wick 17 cents, broke down. And then another day happened. We touched 17 cents, broke down. So this 17-cent range is a pretty massive range to pay attention to, okay? So keep 17 cents. This is the first goal target that stands out, and I think it's the most clear one. And in reality, I mean, that could be the bottom. It really could be the bottom. And I want to be shocked to see if that's the bottom, but I'll point out all ranges just to be safe so you guys know, you know, what to look for as every or any scenario plays out. But yeah, so all this price action here is looking, you know, very strong. So this shows us that there's a lot of money, a lot of bids, a lot of selling, or a lot of sellers and buyers, both, you know, just chilling at the 17-cent range. Well, what happened? We had the massive bull flag. It lasted a month, and then we finally came back up. And this all originated in the middle of July. Well, now we're a month later in August. Before we broke 17 cents, we had one day where we tapped 17 cents, but then we came and closed at 16.1. The very next day, we tapped 17 cents. We come back down. We close at 16.5. Okay. This is a clear support line. It's a clear massive level. What do you want to see in a healthy market after tapping our support line so many times, or resistance line so many times? And sorry, I might flip those words a million times tonight. I just talk so fast I don't keep up with myself. But what do you want to see after you tap a resistance line so many times? You want to see a break and a retest. And we had that on the daily chart, and it looks a lot better in the 4-hour. I'll show you. But we had that in the daily chart, but it's not really like a super healthy retest, right? The retest in the daily chart is just a wick. So we finally broke it. 3 days after it finally touched it again. And then the next day we shot way up, But before we shot up, we came down and tapped it. We tapped this as a support line, and then price just moved way up. That's showing us that price really, really, really wants to move. Price is bound to explode to new levels way past 20 cents very soon. But if we're just looking at the technicals, we want to see ideally, the price calm down and maybe come back down, touch 17 cents one or two more times. We may have touched, we came to 17.5 yesterday. We're at 17.5 earlier today, literally like I think an hour ago. Now we're back to 17.9. So I would not be shocked to see HEX at least pull back in the next 1 to 3 days max. I feel like we're moving so fast right now. We don't really have a lot of time to sit here and wait for pullback. So don't think by any means I'm hoping or waiting for a pullback at this point. I know I tell you guys pullbacks are great. If they happen, great. That makes me as a technical analysis guy feel good with my OCD about seeing perfect patterns. But just if you guys are trying, this is not financial advice by any means, but if you guys are trying to just blow your dry powder and find a good area, the difference between 17 and 17.9, I mean, at this point, just don't play with fire. You will get burned. I got burned. I told you guys I waited for that 13.6 dip. I didn't get it. I bought 3 cents higher, but that 3 cents was also down here, and we're already above it. So even if you feel like you're buying the top, HEX will show you that's not a top before we know it. But so that's the most obvious range right now is 17 cents. I think that's almost inevitable. I just want to see 17 cent touch, maybe a close at 17 cents, and then our next move. That'll kind of confirm the price trap break. So we're kind of trapped there. We finally, break the price trap. Wave 1, wave 2, just around this area. Wave 3 might be, 25 cents, that major target range. Who knows? But I want to see wave 2 pullback literally happen. It's happening now. Let's just get it out of the way and then make our next move up. The next move up will guarantee past 20 cents. I mean, that's easy to call. But I'm looking like 23 to 25 cents on this next wave alone. If it touches 25 cents on the second wave, I mean, the pullback, can take us, who knows, with the pullback off 25 cents, somewhere in this range, we can be touching 30 before we know it. And HEX is getting to the price where it's like, we're talking pennies daily. When I used to talk about zones in HEX, it used to be like tenths of a penny areas to look at. Oh, let's look for 1.2 pennies, or let's look for 2.2 pennies. Now it's more like 16 to 18 cents, or 20 to 22 cents. Let's get 25 to 27 cents in my next range. Like that's a pretty remarkable feat, being that we were literally under a penny in February. We were almost at half a penny. So obviously HEX is looking good. It's looking bullish. I don't have to tell you guys that. We all know that. But that's one thing I'm looking for there. Something I want to point out, and this is kind of like, if you're not really familiar with charts and you want to just project ranges without using tools or learning anything, let me show you a cool thing that's really easy to understand. And it's called psychological levels. There's not really any fancy meaning behind it, but the only thing you got to know is that just whole levels, half levels, and quarter levels are all that matters. What do I mean by that? Whole levels are every round number. So 15 cents is a whole level, right? 16 cents, and these aren't perfect, I'm just kind of throwing them out there. 16 cents, whole level. 17 cents, whole level. 18 cents, whole level. 19 cents, whole level. You guys get the point, right? This 18 is pretty high, actually. That's not too bad. Whole levels are psychological levels that by nature, human minds look at that and they just see those as targets. That's how we were all at one point. We were all that way at one point. 1 cent was a big target. 10 cents is a big target. $1 is a big target. Just one big whole round number. But if you're looking at, ranges to expect market, price reactions at, whole levels are the first and most obvious ranges to look for. So if I go down to the hour chart, look at the price action that's been happening, right? I'm not going to go over all these pennies, but let's just talk about what's happening recently and right now. If you're looking at nothing but whole levels, what do we have? So we had this impulse up, and this is the hour chart, remember? We broke 16 cents, and then we had a tap at 17 cents the whole level. That means there's a ton of people out there that they wanted to see 17 cents for them to take their profit. That was their goal, right? So those are moving support and resistance lines. But look at the price action we have here, and it's almost picture perfect, right? So we have, a big impulse up. It literally hits the top at 17 cents. It pulls back. Where does it pull back to? It discounts its way all the way to the 16 cent whole level range. Look at how price chills. So it shoots up very fast, stops at a whole level, shoots down very fast, stops at a whole level. 16 cents. And then that 16 cents turns into a support line. And then it shoots up again to 17 cents. The impulse stops at the next whole level. 17 cents whole level is still a resistance line. Pulls back down to the 16 cent range again. We're price trapped, right? We finally shoot back up. Price kind of wicks it twice over a couple hours, and then we finally break 17 cents, right? What happens? Remember the price traps I talk about? We broke this price trap on a very short scale, right? This works on every chart. We broke the price trap, and then we created a resistance line on it, like a little mini three-wave pattern. Wave 1 broke it. Wave 2, correction, turns 17 cents to a support. Wave 3 pushes up. That's not picture perfect, but you get the gist of markets move like this all the time, okay? But yeah, whole level, 17 cents, broke it, flipped it to a support line. Bam. Look at the bounce. We didn't necessarily get up to 18 cents right off the bat, but 17 cents, look at it, bounced like a ball, bounce, and then boom, we shot up 18 cents. Price was really volatile in this area. We didn't really have much, resistance at 18 cents, but 18 cents, the whole level, stood out as a strong support line. After we broke it, look at price wicks it once, comes down, wicks it twice, and stays in this range 3-4 hours straight and moves its way to 19 cents. 19 cents is the top. And then boom, price volatile movement down. Look, it just shoots way down. Where does it stop? 18 cents. Now it's trading sideways on this whole level of 18 cents. So now, as the price in HEX starts to change and grow, we have to kind of adapt our analysis, or at least me, because I can't use this. Nobody. So if you're, trading's not good. I don't promote trading. Don't be a trader. Just buy and hold whatever you want to get, non-financial advice. Whatever you do in crypto, don't trade. But if you're looking at charts like how, a trader would, these are things that you look for, so these whole levels. And then half levels are just like, 16 and a half, 17 and a half, quarter level, 16.25, 17.25. We're not going to get into all those, but yeah, those are just things that as a trader you look for. And as a trader, if you're trying to just understand the markets and understand technical analysis, first of all, develop your own style and strategy. You are who you are. Use your own mind and trust yourself more than you trust anybody else. Use people like me to learn from, because everything that I show you guys, I once learned from other people. I didn't know I didn't know how to look at a chart when I first started, right? But so always just trust yourself first and foremost, and always understand that whatever you learn today, that's not going to apply to the markets tomorrow. Everything we learned in trading before COVID happened was thrown out the bat. It was thrown right out the window. COVID hit, that dip that every market had was, no one can project that outside of COVID literally stopping the world. So what happens? You have to adjust the way you look at the charts. Now, it's post-COVID, but charts move. But what I mean here is HEX. We're not, a sub 1 set HEX anymore. We're not trading 1 to 10 pennies anymore. We're going from 10 pennies to $1 now. So as HEX grows, I have to just adjust my way of showing you guys how I look at the chart. So now you guys are going to start seeing me incorporate these whole levels more, especially for projections, because it's simple. What happens when we finally break this 19 cent whole level? Well, 20 cents, right? So we can start pinpointing pennies and just hitting those targets every few hours before we know it. So we went from 1 penny being an ultimate target to 1 penny being like a normal, temporary, short-term, area for price to sit at. So just keep that in mind. Look at how, these whole levels play out, and just look how price beautifully reacts to all these pennies as price grows. So if you guys are trying to look at charts and you don't understand what you're looking at, just draw lines at every whole penny level and just see how price bounces off of it. And boom, you got yourself a nice chart to look at. You got yourself a bunch of nice areas to project going forward. And you got yourself a bunch of nice areas to project any pullbacks too. So that's one other cool thing to look at. And while we're here, HEX is obviously growing in price. It's growing in market cap. It's growing, in liquidity and everything like that. But look at how many gaps and wicks we still have. Look how much gap. Like, look at this big gap. We have this candle. There's a big gap here. There's a gap right here. Gap right here. There's a ton of gaps and a ton of strong wicks. What do those things usually signify? That usually signifies low liquidity. So although HEX is at all-time highs, and although HEX is, 170,000% up from what it was day one, excuse me, not counting like the first dip from like January 5th. Excuse me. Although HEX is up these massive percentages and multiples, we still have a lot of like gap and wick action. That means there's still a lot of money that can still be poured into this, because if you look at like a normal, like US 30, for example, if you guys are Forex traders, US 30, you're not going to see gaps in wick. You'll see wicks, but you're not going to see gaps in any of these movements because there's so much money in the US 30 chart, right? So if we're looking at like something like HEX, the fact that we still see a ton of gaps means that there's low liquidity. And what does that also mean? If a big player wants to jump into the market and put a lot of money in, that's still going to shoot the price up a lot. If somebody wants to put in $1 million in a HEX today, that can make one candle bigger than we've ever seen. I remember back in April 2020 when the God Whale got into the market, we had that 10x move. It wasn't in one candle, but it was in like the 3-week span. We moved 10x. Once the first big players got in. So we're still at a situation with HEX that once real big like institutions and big time investors really put their money into this price is still going to move fast. When we get to $1, that's probably when we're going to start seeing normal movement, less, gappy candles. So this is all opportunity. Anytime you see stuff like this, you're early. So if you're here and you just found about HEX yesterday and you're making your first purchase at 19 cents, you are so early, and congratulations to you. Okay. So, so the price traps, just keep that in mind. The psychological levels, keep those in mind. With that being said, let's look at the 4-hour chart real quick. And I'll jump in the chat too. So I just wanted to really talk about all this, stuff. And look at the 4-hour chart. I mean, look at this huge gap we had right here, right? Low liquidity. But remember we were talking about 17 cents, right? Well, if you guys watch my streams, there's one thing I always talk about in simple price action. And keep in mind, we're not using any tools. I'm literally just looking at the price and figuring these things out. I'm not pulling up any type of tool or indicator or nothing like that to help me feel this way. I'm just looking at what price is telling us because price tells the truth. But on the 4-hour chart, I talk about dojis and engulfing candles. This is the first doji candle we've had in a long time, right? So what's a doji candle? A doji engulfing candle, I'm going to call it. So it's when you see something like this. An engulfing candle means like, price moves one way like this. Like say the candle shoots down and then the next candle shoots so high up that this actual candlestick engulfs this one. So it can basically eat it whole. That's an engulfing candle. That's usually a bullish sign whenever it's, pointing in the right direction. What is a doji candle? It's a candle that you see like this is the wick and then it moves up, it moves down, but the price closes like right here. So you see like this is terrible. Pretend this is like the candle body, this thick part right here. That is terrible. But you see it's basically a small candle with the top wick and a bottom wick, right? I like to see doji candles form and then be followed up by engulfing candles to confirm price is going to move. And usually 10 times out of 10, like it's going to move. So when's the last time we saw this? Whoops. We saw this right here, right? So you had this massive push up. You had this massive push down. And it's kind of like a doji. It wicked a little bit at the bottom. You see the big wick there. So it fooled people into thinking that it's going to go one way. So maybe sellers got involved. And then you had an engulfing candle follow it. We haven't had one of these in a long time. But look what just got printed in the 17th of August at 3 o'clock Central Time. So 3 a.m. Central Time. So 2 days ago, this is, this is less than 48 hours ago. We finally got our next doji engulfing candle, right? So price moves up. We get this fake down. This price shoots down, wicks, tricks people into thinking that you might go down, and then it gets engulfed. And what happens after it gets engulfed? Price just explodes off of that. So that's kind of a confirmation that gives me, like, whenever you see stuff like this promises me that price is moving this way, at least for a while. Okay. But what does that also mean? Whenever you see price action like this, that means we're sitting at a very, very major level. There's a lot of money sitting in these ranges whenever you see dojis. Ironic enough, where's this level at? The whole level of 17 cents. We just talked about 17 cents on this wave 2 pullback for this pullback right here. So that's what makes this is another confirmation that makes me think that 17 cents has to be touched before we get that move up. Okay. We don't only got a doji candle there, but keep in mind, we had this double top here. But look what happens, real quick, kind of a side note. We created a mini triangle, right? Boom, boom, triangle, formed tension, exploded, broke the 17-cent resistance line, used a doji engulfing candle to retest it, turn it to a support line, and then moved up. So this price action you guys see right here, like this is really the only confirmation we need. Like this is like, okay, we see this price is going to continue moving up. So the 17-cent range is a very, very hot range. I'm not going to get too into detail about how much further it can go down if 17 cents doesn't hold, because I don't really think we're going there. But if we did, the next clear level, 15.2, double top here, price action all right here. We talked about this last week. Very worst case scenario, maybe 15.2, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm not even going to talk about that. But yeah, I would like to just see this 5-wave pattern. You know, it's already started. Wave 1's here. Have the pullback go down to 17 cents for every reason we talked about. I think we talked about 4 or 5 different reasons that are just 4 or 5 different confirmations. Wave 3 guaranteed breaks 20 cents. And who knows? No one knows if that third wave takes us to maybe 22, 23 cents or if it's all the way to 25 cents. But short term, for the next few days between now and the time that I get on stream next week, I want to see this pullback playback and then see this third wave up. Hopefully by next week, we're maybe topping off wave 3 the same way we're topping off wave 1 right now and starting a wave 4 pullback. Who knows? That would be my best guess. Okay. All right, so there's that. Let me do this. So there's a couple. There's some other things that I want to share with you guys. Just and let me get in the chat too. I didn't check any comments, and I apologize for that. Yeah, I'm behind. I'm sorry. This is where I can use a blue bum, you know. So it keeps me in tune with everybody. Yeah, there's too many comments. I would spend too much time doing that. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm not going to be too involved in the comments. But let me just show you something. I want to show you data. Oh, I didn't even have this thing full screen this whole time. Jeez. That's why I should be in the comments. Okay. Let me show you guys a couple more things. I just want to show you different data and comparisons that I kind of came up with just by doing some math. And I made a tweet about this the other day. And I'm pretty sure if you guys were in this chat, you probably saw that tweet. But I basically measured how long it took HEX to get to this 165,000% that it's at. So I want to walk through my mindset figuring that out and show you guys how I came up with that. And then we can start talking about, you know, some projections for maybe what we can expect with Pulse based off of this data. So let me share this chart. Let me clear everything off. So how am I going to do this? So this is not even a disclaimer. Let me be very clear. I'm not going from the bottom. I'm not going. So when I talk about HEX taking X amount of days to get to where it's at, I'm not going from this bottom because I know if I measure from day 1 all the way to the top, that percent's going to be a lot different than starting at the bottom. I'm not going from the bottom. I'm going to be fair and just fair and direct with all 3. I'm going to do this for HEX, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and then we can kind of speculate on Pulse, okay? But from day 1 on HEX, right? So here's where we are, and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get a price range, start it from day 1. Whoops. It might have to be day 2 just because these charts act funky. All right, let me do that. Zoom out. So from day 1, wait, I didn't even go to the bottom of that candle. So day 1's price is about right here is where it started at. And then being at the all-time high that we just created, what the percent is at right now. So 100. So we're at 110,000% basically. Oh wait, 110,117. Yeah. So let's round down 110,000% to be fair from the very start. How long did it take HEX to get to 110,000% from day 1? Well, we're just gonna check the date range and literally go from the same parameter. Okay. So it took HEX 617 days. To go from day 1 to 110%. Okay, so let me write that down for myself. So we got 110%, 110,000% in 617 days. And the tweet I made actually went from the bottoms. But this one I'm not going to do it from the bottom. So Ethereum now, right? Or no, so HEX is a better version of Bitcoin. So let's compare HEX against Bitcoin right off the bat. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. BTC, USD. Bitcoin. And this one I'm going to have to go on like this isn't going to be spot on because this is like, there's so much Bitcoin data that HEX doesn't have. This is years and years and years. But basically Bitcoin day 1, right? See, because Bitcoin had the same thing. It started higher, then it had a massive dip, you know, a few months after, kind of like how HEX did, you know, like the month after it came out. So we can make that argument for any coin, really. There's always an initial dump after the release. But from day 1, this is where we're at. Okay. And it's going to take a little bit of time because there's a lot of stuff here. So it's 685%. Let's take this to 110,000%. Okay. 20694. Hang on one second. I am messing this up 110. I'm messing this up. Hang on. Why is this not adding up? Oh, you know what? That's from 13. Let me get the right one. Sorry. Hang on. Bitcoin. US dollar. Coin paprika. This one's a better chart. Here we go. This makes more sense. Yeah, see, that started in 2013. Sorry, I was looking at that. That was not the right chart. Here's the real Bitcoin one from day one, right? Okay, so let's move this to 110,000%. Oh, whoops, we're way up there now. It took Bitcoin roughly 39, 47, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 103, 106. We're about 110 right here. So around this range. And let me just get more precise. Let's go on the daily chart. Come on. Yeah, see how much data is on this chart. It actually takes effort and time to figure these out once you try to get it to the specific day. Here, we do this. Hang on. Where's my price at? Where's my rectangle? Here it is. Okay. So 102,000. Let's move this up to 110,000. 11. Okay, so we're 111. Let's just not spend too much time doing that. So around 110,000%. It took Bitcoin. Days. So for Bitcoin to get to that same mark, it took 942 days, okay? So 942 days, let me write that down. So HEX took 617 days to get here, and that's about 30% less days than it took Bitcoin to get here. So if Bitcoin did, that's insane, 6.5 million X in a total of 10 years, based on this math alone, if HEX wants to do a 6.5 million X, it would probably only take like 7 years at this rate, right? So, and then let's just get Ethereum real quick. ETH, USD. How long did it take Ethereum to get its initial 10,000%? I'm sweating in here. I need to turn this fan. I was telling you guys, and I made this tweet. It was so hard. Look at this day one dump. That's a massive one. Sorry, Ethereum. We're going. No, I'll be generous. I'll go from the Ethereum day one dump. No, I'll go middle because I can't be unfair. I have to keep the data fair, right? Here we go. So we're at 87,363. Yes, 105, 116, 112. We're at about 118, 116, 112. Right around here. I shorted that's a couple weeks. No, it's only 103. No, I got to be fair. So around this range, whatever, it's close enough. So Ethereum, roughly, to get to that same exact percent that HEX is at and Bitcoin got to, took Ethereum. No, that can't be right. Hang on, that cannot be right. Yeah, no. I lied to you guys. I missed this whole entire top. 110,000% perfectly right here. It was telling me a couple thousand days. It was like, yeah, no, it's not right. Took Ethereum 888 days, let's say. So Bitcoin took 942 days to get to where HEX is at. It took Ethereum 888 days to get where HEX is at. It took HEX to 617 days to get where HEX is at. Okay. So my thought process on this is basically HEX was built to be a better version of, and man, I got to make this big. HEX was built to be a better version of Bitcoin, right? And it successfully did that. It outperformed Bitcoin in terms of like a pace of how fast it appreciated by about 30%. Let's just keep these numbers whole and round. Ethereum needed about 7 to 8% less days than Bitcoin. Ethereum's not a better Bitcoin. It's just a better network than Bitcoin and a better code than Bitcoin, right? So with putting that two and two together, so a better network than Bitcoin took 7% less days than Bitcoin to get to where it's at. What if we put a better version of Ethereum into the mix now, which is Pulse Chain, and compare that using the data that the better version of Bitcoin, which is HEX, gave us? So if HEX took 30% less days than Bitcoin, being a better version of that thing, what can Pulse take using that same data to appreciate being a better version of Ethereum? Okay. So if we do that, well, I was about to go pull up a pulse chain chart, but I can't. I can't wait till we pull up those pulse chain charts. But kind of using that data, let's keep it simple. The difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum is about 7 to 8%, right? Let's assume that the difference between Hex and Pulse can be the same thing. I know they're totally different, products. They have totally different use cases and everything, but let's just assume that we can use this data and just let history repeat itself. What is 7% less than, Hex? So where's my calculator at? Calculator. So 617 days, 617 times 0.07. Take 43 days off that mark. So using that exact data, it would take a pulse chain. We could expect to project pulse chain to see these same type of returns in 573 days roughly. So if it took Hex 617 days, we can probably see the same type of thing for Pulse in 573 days. So it's long story short, it's going to take a lot less time. And the conclusion I came up with was basically I measured all these to just a 100x. We can see Pulse Chain do a 100x in a matter of like 298 days. So less than a year, we can expect to see 100x. Before I actually looked into this data, my hypothesis, I guess, was that Pulse Chain would just basically start off at 0.00001 because that was the rate. I might have confused those numbers, but the same rate that you get for the sacrifice phase was going to be the same price for Pulse, worst case scenario. And I thought 100x in 1 year would be kind of the goal. But now actually looking into this data and putting these numbers together, I would expect to see 100x probably with at least 2 to 3 months left in the year, so in the first 12 months of that. So that's a very strong sign for Pulse Chain. But also, I mean, if Pulse Chain's pumping, P-Hex is going to pump too. And imagine P-Hex and E-Hex being at the same price. If Pulse Chain's going to do that type of X. And then Richard Hart also talked about in his last stream, he's going to have like the liquidity pairs where Pulse is going to trade against or with P-Hex. So if Pulse Chain, and with Hart's Law that he coined, if Pulse Chain appreciates, the price of P-Hex would appreciate with it. So if Pulse is doing these insane gains, I would expect P-Hex to do these same exact gains at the exact same rate. I would probably expect Pulse to outperform P-Hex short term. And then I would expect P-Hex to just take over everything long term. So that's just something cool. Yeah, 7 years. When I was looking at the Ethereum thing, I don't know how many years I got. I was using the wrong top, but that wasn't good. But yeah, so looking at all that's basically just my fundamental analysis, no data to back that, kind of speculating the Pulse Chain price and everything. And I feel like that's valid data that we can use to kind of get some type of, estimate and what to expect. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that. So what I got to do, is I do have some special guests that I wanted to bring on today, but I also didn't want to I don't want to overdo it, right? So I know last week Blue Bum came on and everything was great. It was fun, but to keep those things exciting, me and Blue Bum got to partner together as, big things happen. So it's like there's less supply, so there's more demand for it, right? So I don't want to over dilute my shows with always having, collaborations, which are great, but I think I have to alternate it. So what I'm getting at is I think next week I want to throw together some collaboration on this channel. I want to break down the technicals. So you guys are looking at through the second wave that we're creating in a new 5-wave pattern right now. Next week I want to get on, recap where we're at, where we're going, and then get some other guys on here with me that know the charts that you guys are very familiar with. So expect something like that. But there's a lot of things to look forward to. So let me just look at some of the chat now. So I showed a majority of the data I wanted to show, and maybe I didn't show you guys all the cool stuff tonight. This probably wasn't like the perfect stream, but I at least wanted to get you some information to go off of because not too much changed from last week. Let's see. Yeah, you're gonna buy so many watches. Sideshow Bob. Yeah, I mean, you don't gotta buy those watches, man. I mean, I think Richard, the only reason why he buys those watches is just because like he already has everything he needs in this world, and he talks the truth, and the truth just doesn't work. So he knows by flashing expensive things that's gonna attract a ton more people, probably with the wrong mindset. But I feel like all of us as like being hexicans and whatever they call pulse chain buyers, we shouldn't put our focus on like buying watches and cars. Well, let's just hold the price and let's all get paid together, because when you sell, it's like, I mean, that watch might appreciate, but I think it's cooler to say you have, a few million hex than you have a watch, right? So if it's up to me, my non-financial advice, hodl. So Pulse, 1 penny in less than a year. Yeah. So OBX C Reaper. I'll put the chat on here. I do think that, and if you go to my Twitter, actually, go look at it. Maybe a month and a half ago, I made a tweet with some data, not getting that detailed, about how Pulse Chain could see 100x in 1 year, and then I think it should hit a penny within a year. That's my guess, but who knows? The price can start off at 10 cents. It can start off way lower, but yeah. And yeah, here we go. 100x is FUD. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you guys know me by now. I'm conservative. And oh, hang on, look at this. We might get this price action on stream. Let me show the correct chart again now. Max out of here. What's good, everybody? Up close and personal. I got a haircut today. You guys like the fade? Shout out to AD Cuts. Follow him on Twitter and Instagram. He's got some fresh cuts. Let me show you guys this chart. Hex price is coming right down to that 17-cent range, actually. This would be so cool. We've never had a stream where price went exactly where I wanted to go live on stream. Last week almost was that. This week, I mean, it's not exactly the most bullish. I mean, no, it is the most bullish. It's not going the way we want it to go, but 17 cents of that line. Look at this candle right now. This is the 4-hour chart. We're moving our way down there. So I said 1 to 3 days earlier. This might happen in 1 to 3 hours. Who knows? Let's just get this touch, bounce around. Let's hold 17 cents as a strong support line. Once we complete this, wave 3, we can expect wave 3. I mean, as long as 17 cents holds in the next 12 to 36 hours, we should expect 20 cents by Sunday, Monday. As long as 17 cents holds, we can expect 20 plus cents by Monday, because there's not really much resistance at 20 outside of just being a psychological level. Okay. Let's see. Let me go check some charts. Let me go check some chats. Jenkins, do you have the chart with the 2 moving averages that cross? Are you talking about my Ichimoku? The red and blue. I didn't show you guys this one. This is an indicator, so I didn't do no indicator. Let me check this for you guys. I forgot. I got so into just simple price patterns, I forgot to show you the actual tools that everyone else uses. We don't need tools because price shows us enough. But let me show you guys that. Thanks for bringing that up. This is a pretty cool tool. Using the Ichimoku. Do I want to explain? I feel like I explain this all the time. Basically, this cloud, which red and green, you see it twist. The cloud is a moving support and resistance area. Okay. So if the cloud is green, obviously price is moving up. If the cloud is red, price is moving down. But when price gets inside the cloud, you usually see price respected a lot. Obviously, all of this manipulation, by the way, hit our 10.8 cent line perfectly. I don't know if I talked about this enough, but I mean, you can't draw it better than it. We got that perfect touch. You guys remember that call. But outside of this mess right here, price usually, respects the cloud a lot. But what you want to see when the price breaks the cloud, you want to see the red line cross above the blue line. I'm not going to explain what the lines mean and how they work. That's a different story for a different day. All you got to know is that when the red crosses above the blue, price usually follows going up. If red crosses above the blue, above the cloud, and it stays above, this is what happens. So as you can see here, we're under the cloud, right? Blue crossed over the red. The red, they kind of tangled a little bit, right? They stayed side by side. Then the red finally broke above the blue. What happens? This was a very thin cloud, so it wasn't much support or it wasn't much resistance. But once the red crossed the blue, price shoots up, right? The red still stays above. It stays above. It starts to tangle a little bit once we had this massive drop at 17 cents, by the way, again. But it's staying strong. Now, thank you for bringing that up. I didn't check whose name that was, but thank you for bringing this up, because look, the red line, this is another confirmation that we're going to get a pullback and it's going to be short and quick, right? The red just crossed below the blue. So that means, price is obviously moving down. What's a bullish thing in this situation? Well, look at this. We have the green cloud right here. If this price moves down, it's going to start touching this moving support area. With this exact area, 17 cents lies in the midst of all that, along with this doji engulfing candle, along with the double top, along with 17 cents being a whole psychological level. So this kind of confirms, at least in my head, it's another confirmation outside of the other 6 that we talked about or whatever, that we're going to get a small pullback. And I would fully expect, the 17 cent range being what it is, on top of being a cloud here. Sit down here for a little bit and then let the red cross above the blue, and then we'll take our next move, our next leg up. So yeah, just looking at a brief Ichimoku, a quick look at it, it looks good. So thanks for bringing that up. That's another good confirmation. Yeah, so that's that. Let me see. Are these super chats? Super chat, 50 USDs. Okay, so who's this? Rick in 305. Rick, I appreciate that. I do. So if anybody ever wants to do it, let me be straight transparent about this. I appreciate every super chat, but use that money to invest into HEX, not financial advice. Use that money in yourself, right? But if I do get super chats, this isn't my channel, so I don't know how that would come, so I'm not worried about it. But if you guys do give me super chats, just know I don't want your guys' money. I don't expect money. I don't need anybody's money, and I'm grateful and fortunate enough to say that. I'm pretty sure everybody in HEX can say that. I appreciate that. But if I start getting super chats and stuff, I think we're just going to make some fun out of it. So however many super chats we get in a stream, I want to use that to buy HEX and then maybe do like a raffle, like out of all the people that were in the stream, and this is just like I don't know how this isn't set in stone, but if I start getting super chats, I want to do something where like all the money that we get on stream from donations, put it into one bunch. I'll buy HEX with that and then do a raffle for the people that are on stream or something. You guys can confirm it by like messaging me or something in the middle of the stream, and I'll pick one person on that raffle to just win all that HEX, just because like it's all about HEX, and I appreciate the gesture. So Rick in the 305, I genuinely do appreciate the gesture. I thank you for that, but you just gave me a great idea. So but keep in mind, this is not my channel. This is the Discourse Syndicate channel, so I don't know if I may even have access to that, but I'll figure that out on the back end, that if we start doing the super chat fun stuff, I'm going to use that all for you guys, because this is what it's all about. My value is for you guys, and I don't expect anything in return. So I'll talk to like Kinetics and RG3 and see what we can do about that. If I could get the super chats out of this chat, I'll buy HEX, and whether it's a lot or a little, but I will buy a HEX and give it to somebody. I'll do some form of raffle for the people that are in here, and the way I can confirm that is by checking. If I pick a winner, I'll check the live chat to confirm that you guys, the winner was here live on stream. So I'm not giving it to some random person, but I do appreciate that, Rick. So thank you. Okay, so I'll check a few more chats, and then I will basically wrap it up. And then hit me up on Twitter if you guys want to see a special guest. I will give the people what they want, right? Wales, yeah, Wales, Gerardo, yeah. I mean, soon enough, you guys are gonna see some good collaborations, right? So Wales, Gerardo, Axis, if you're out there, you might see. I might be doing a collaboration on a different channel this weekend, actually. So stay tuned for that. I'm going from the bottom up. But if you guys have any questions or concerns, just reach out to me. 17 plus cents. We're here, Crypto Jenkins. Yeah, I mean, we are here. So we're 17.47 cents right now. My man Jenkins, always a good day when Jenkins is in the house. I appreciate that. INT Pro. I try to add value, give you guys, something to look forward to. And I hope you guys enjoy it. And if you guys don't at least enjoy it, hopefully you got value out of it, But yeah, very bullish thing. Pulse Lord's another guy out there. Pulse Lord, welcome to the chat, my man. I actually watched one of your videos recently, a few of them, and I like your style. So I think it'd be nice to get a Pulse Lord Jenkins kind of mix, chop these charts up a little bit. So shout out to Pulse Lord. Large eyebrows means more sweat absorbed. Yeah. Oh, that's where it came. I'm going from the bottom up, so I'm seeing this. Yeah, I got thick eyebrows. My wife actually waxes them. She's an esthetician, so shout out to her. Balliet Brand's hair as always. Balliet Brand, the man, he's a robot. He's everywhere at all times. Mel V. Tony. I see you a lot in every chat. So shout out to you, man. I see you always posting the prices. I'm sure you have prices somewhere in here in this chat. So shout out to you. Good. Who's this? Justin. You're learning I'm glad you're learning. I try to keep it just literally like nice and sweet and simple. And I want it to be comprehensible. I want it to be able for you guys to be able to listen to it one time and be able to teach like a kindergartner, right? Yeah, staking is the best. There and here's Mel V. Tony's price. He's always dropping these. This guy is the chart. He is Uniswap. He is the guy that determines how much the market's going to pay us out if we do decide to sell, right? I didn't used to see these TA streams of Jenks before, but now I don't miss these. D-Rash more. Well, I appreciate you. Tune in more. Follow me on Twitter. Hit me up. And I make a conscious effort when I go on Twitter. I'm not on there all the time, but I make a conscious effort to respond to every single person that I can. And it's hard to keep up sometimes because like when you get like likes and retweets, that fills up all your mentions. But yeah, just connect with me on Twitter. I try to stay in touch with everybody. I am one of you guys, right? I'm no mastermind. I'm just a person that's been doing this a long time, and I just try to share what I know. Kinetics, here he is. Kinetics, the man himself, the man who's a big reason why this Discourse Syndicate machine is built. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Man, Kinetics, I still haven't done a stream of Kinetics. I think I'm going to have to hop in that FN Hangouts this Friday with those boys and chop it up with them because I talked to you guys so much, but we never formally talked, like on a stream and kind of had that dialect and interaction. I appreciate you, Kinetics, though. So okay, I'm gonna go back down towards the bottom, but yeah, so there we go. I'm getting better though. If you guys know me, I used to never check the chat, but here I am. Like now I am, I'm in here, I'm in the chat, I'm doing my justice, right? Let's see. No, I do not. Roge, I do not use that. I don't get too deep into that. Live chatting new major third stake. Congratulations to you. Stake is how you make it. Crypto Panda, what is good? 17 cents. Kiss would be glorious. Yeah, a nice little kiss off 17 cents would be glorious. And you just think, 5 days ago, if we would have thought a negative day is 17 cents, we'd be super happy with. So if we're negative and above 17 cents, that says it all. So there's no magic that I see in the charts. It's more just like, let me just point simple things out. I like to do my streams when the markets are pulling back because like it's easy to, if price is going up, it's easy to say that it's going up and everyone does that, right? But when price is pulling back, finding that exact range, really, that's where I feel the most comfortable because I'm like, let me be that guy that doesn't give you the best news, but usually tries to give you realistic areas. For example, you guys can follow me, this 10.8 range, I've been waiting. I waited 3 weeks for this and we almost didn't get it, but we finally got it with that manipulation candle. So that was the range I got and we finally got there, right? And then also when I first started streaming, I know the very early Jenkins followers, that 3.5 wick move, I wanted that pullback all the way off this top up here. So we got that perfectly. I like when the pullbacks happen so we can pull out those areas. So I guess unfortunately for Jenkins, at least, I don't have a pullback to really find an area back. And I'm just here just being truthful, saying that it's not going to stay down long. It's just let's find a quick area because we're moving up right now. We're in the midst of moving up, so let's just celebrate and enjoy that. Yeah, Pulse Lord. Yeah, hit me up, Pulse Lord. I don't think you've messaged me on Twitter yet, but hit me up. We'll get something together on there. So, I try. I hope you guys enjoyed when I was trying to put all the data for Hex, Ethereum, and Bitcoin live. And you saw how much of a pain it is to get those charts perfectly, find that 110,000% the exact amount of days. That was a little bit of a pain. But yeah. ISO Serenity, shout out to you. Jenkins, your TA has got me so pumped for the future. I can't stand it. I'm glad. I hope I can bring some enthusiasm, but it's also like realistic. I try to stay realistic, and that's where the conservative FUD that you guys get on me for comes from. But I try to be realistic, but even if I'm being worst case scenario minded, it's still the most optimistic outlook on the chart itself. So, let's see. What is this? Yeah, mental space is improved. I'm performing well at work as a result. Grateful. So yeah. So that's the thing too. Don't get so caught up in the charts, everybody. Don't let the charts control you. Don't let your portfolio control you. Just enjoy it. Just enjoy it and stake it till you make it. Because if you stake it for 5 days for 15 years or 15.2 years, you're not gonna have to really worry about a pullback. I mean, you're not gonna have to really about pullbacks or selling the bottom or buying the top. Just stake it, and then when time comes, you'll be a-okay. So Hex really does a good job at that. Yeah, see, Pulse, I know you understand me because the pullbacks, they don't feel good. Yeah, they don't, but for people like us, they do. Because when we're looking at areas, it's like I'm staked, so I'm good. I don't have to worry about a price pumping right here, right now. If it pumps in 15 years, then I'll worry. If it doesn't pump in 15 years, I'll worry. But right now, we're good, right? But yeah, so a couple more chats, and I'm gonna hop off here. Jenkins, would you say once Hex hits $1, it will hover there a while before another jump to 10? Curious what resistance levels are typical. Keep in mind it's a whole level, so I want to be jacked, but let me just show you a little bit of data here. When we first finally broke 10 cents so long ago, it seems like it was, eternity ago. 9. So here's 10 cents, right? We got to 9.8 over here in this first pump, but 10 cents was that first major goal, right? So I see that dollar can happen exactly like this. When we get to $1, we're going to be like, oh yes, $1. Richard's going to light his candles again. Everything's great, and people are going to sell. We thought that was going to happen at 10 cents. Look what happened. We almost got to 10 cents, but we didn't. But look, when we touched 10 cents, we spent no time here, right? We literally, let's go to the hour chart. Let's see exactly how much time we spent here off this purple line. We didn't even spend a whole hour here, but we did have a good break and retest, right? So break, retest off 10 cents, and it shot up. But we spent in this hour, that means it spent no more than a few minutes breaking 10 cents. Then it spent no more than maybe an hour retesting it. So we spent no time at 10 cents. So even if we want to say that price will chill there, who knows? If we're at $1, that's when all the normal people with limited understandings are going to be like, oh, Hex is good now because it's $1. I earn interest off $1 Hex, and I can earn 6 Hex per T-share or whatever the rate is. And that's where people start using that full CD feature that you could, get at a normal bank. So I feel like once $1 comes, there's going to be a plethora of people, and we'll see, it might be a parabolic move to get to 10 cents, to $1. And then the dollar might not even be the resistance area, but it'll definitely slow down. It'll at the very least do a break and retest, but it might not spend too much time there. So who knows? Aussie Hex, what is good, Aussie Hex? Shout out to you. I always see you active on Twitter. Good day, Jenkins. Watching your stream via site phone link in Central West Queensland. Out he on the boarding. You're out here onboarding hexagons. I like it. I salute your service, my friend. So who's gonna be the 100th like? Oh, shout out to you guys. If you guys are liking this video, shout out to you guys. Mel V Tony, there you are. Yeah, cool. But that's really all I got for you guys. So just hit me up on Twitter if you guys have any questions or concerns. Next week, next Thursday, I'll be live again. I'll probably bring on a special guest. We'll bring the energy. I'll make it fun. I'll turn it up. And I fully expect that third wave to be in the mist. So next week, you can quote me on this. I always gotta add in what's it called, like a quoted video. So if you want to quote me on this, where we at, let's go to where price is at right now. So next week on stream, I will be here on Thursday. I fully expect Hex to, obviously already finished off this first wave. We're in the midst of a second wave, tap 17 cents, third wave impulse. So by next week, when I get on stream, I want to complete the top of this third impulse, and I want to see the start of the fourth wave pullback by next week. And then who knows? But I can guarantee that the third wave of this price break is going to be above 20 cents. And the third wave might top at 25. Worst case, the fifth wave is going to top at 25. But 20 cents is the next move after this dip, at least. And then 25 cents is the next major target. And then once we get there, I'll show you guys more long-term stuff. So I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself here. We talk long-term price all the time. But yeah, so shout out to you guys. Hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions or concerns. Until then, have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for being here.